Where's my southern folks at? Hey, I know it is a tradition down in the south. It always is, whether you're having chocolate syrup and biscuits on Christmas morning or chocolate gravy and biscuits. I need to know which is your favorite, and we're whooping them up with some 2-ingredient biscuits. Merry Christmas morning to you. We hope you had the best day ever and you got everything you asked for and then some more. But hey, what did you have for breakfast on this Christmas morning? You know it is a tradition at my house that we have what? Chocolate syrup and biscuits every Christmas as long as I can remember. Now, we're going to do 2 versions, and all my southern folks know there's chocolate gravy, there's chocolate syrup.
So what's the difference?
You know, I think the difference is the chocolate syrup that we make is water-based. The chocolate gravy is pet milk really based with a little flour to thicken it. It might stay on your biscuit a little better. But also, we're going to throw in one of our most popular recipes that's sure got a lot of views, and that is so easy, and that is our 2-ingredient biscuits. All it is self-rising flour and whipped cream. We're going to cook them up, and we're going to make both batches of this chocolate gravy and chocolate syrup. And y'all can pick, and me and Mage will decide. Tell him, Mage, Merry Christmas!
Hey, you got your Christmas sweater on.
He does. He said, I'm looking really sharp today. Covers up my fat. Easiest, fastest biscuits I've ever made in my life. I mean, I've had so many people comment after we did this video the very first time and say, hey, even I can make these biscuits. They were so good. We're going to make these biscuits at Christmas. I hope you did. So we're going to start with 2 cups of self-rising flour. Isn't that right, Mage? You look really good in your jacket. I'm so honored to have you out here in camp on Christmas morning. Now remember, when you buy self-rising flour, there is salt, there is baking powder, so hey, we're through. That's all it's got. But to that, what? The secret ingredient, whipping cream, heavy cream, 1.5 cups. So we're gonna add 1 cup, and then we're gonna add a little less than 1/2, because I like to err always on the side of, hey, it might be just right. We're just gonna go to folding that together till we can get this to assemble some kind of ball of dough. But these are the easiest biscuits in the world. You can make these, cut them out, put them on a cookie sheet on some wax paper, already made into biscuits laid out there, and you can freeze them. Then you can sack them up. You know them Grand's biscuits you buy in the store that are frozen? Same thing here.
Then you also cook them and then freeze them?
Yeah, but I don't think they're as good that way.
Oh, okay.
So you can see we're a little dry here when I come up with that 1.25 cups. So we're going to go ahead and put that other 1/4 in there. And then it's going to be time to get your hands in it. That milk come out of the ice box at 38 degrees. It's 37 degrees out here now, so I'm thinking my hands might get cold. We're going to flour them just a little, and then we're going to try to get this into a ball. Now, if it seems to be a tad wet, you can always add flour. But when I'm making bread, I always want to start out on the wetter side of things, then we can add flour to it if we need it. But it's really hard to incorporate liquid back into something when something is too dry to start with. This is really soft dough, and it's not sticking to my hands, and that's sort of the way we want to keep it. Now we're going to get rid of this. We're going to flour this chuck box. Put her here, sort of flatten it out just a little. Flatten it out a little, turn it over, make sure you got flour on all sides. Get your husband trainer, get it out. We're just gonna roll this out till it's about, I'd say pretty close to a 1/2 inch thick. We don't have Duke here to measure it up against one of his ears, but I would say that was real close. Well, we got her rolled out, we do. Got me a 10-inch Dutch oven to put me about, I'd say, 1.5 tablespoons of butter in there. And don't scrimp on butter no more. Go ahead and buy Kerrygold. I really think that's your best bet. If you ain't got a Dutch oven, hey, I prefer you cook these biscuits in a cast iron skillet. Just slide them in there. Never preheat that cast iron if you're going to make biscuits, because you'll end up burning them. Look at this good biscuit cutter. Well, it's all I could find today. And when you mash them down in there, don't twist it. because we want these biscuits to be able to come out of there pretty easy. And if you twist that dough, then you're sealing that edge and it's not going to rise as well. Well, it'll make about 10 biscuits, this recipe, and you know me, I'm going to cook them outside here with coals underneath and coals on top. But if you're cooking them in the house, preheat that oven to 350 degrees, slide them in there. You're going to probably cook for about 20 to 25 minutes till they're golden brown. I'll meet y'all at the trivet. It's sort of like in football, you know, college, you're either for Texas or OU, or you're for OU or OSU, you're either for chocolate gravy or chocolate syrup. At my house, it was always chocolate syrup. We're going to flip a coin, see who goes first. Up, chocolate gravy won the toss. We're going to start out with about 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. To that, we're going to add 3/4 cup of sugar, about 1/4 cup of flour. Now, mix that before you ever start anymore, because when you add liquid to anything that's got cocoa in it, you can hardly get it to dissolve after that. So mix it up really well. Make sure that you don't see any more lumps of cocoa sticking together. Uh-oh. I see some flour hung up on the bottom. See that when you shake that? Always give it a little shake, that way you know everything's incorporated well. Okay, to that, just because I love the gravy, people, I do, I'm going to add them a little cinnamon. Just a shake, about that much. Now, to that, we're going to add 1.5 cups of canned milk. Not only does it make the best gravy in the world, it'll make the best chocolate gravy as well.
Could you also use like cream or milk?
You could use heavy cream or milk if you'd rather. 1.5 cups. To that, we're going to stir. Now, as this cooks, the flour will help thicken and it will become the gravy.
So that's it?
That is it. Besides what? Kerrygold butter. 3 tablespoons. We're going to slide this over here on Bertha. We're going to set this over some heat. We want to bring it to a boil and then lower it to a simmer. Let it cook probably 4 or 5 minutes till it gets to where it is thick enough you like it. But constantly stir it as it begins to simmer there at the end. But I need to check them biscuits. When that butter melts and you've been stirring it for a while, you have, your arm is hurting, go ahead and add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I prefer to use the Mexican vanilla. I love the flavor that it brings about. Stir it up really well, and we're going to bring it back to a simmer and just keep it on a low simmer till it thickens to where you want it. Don't walk off and leave it, because that cocoa and that sugar in there can burn at the bottom if you ain't stirring it. Next, and it comes from where our very first cookbook, Chocolate Syrup Biscuits. I think it's on page 31. Let's just see if it's still there. Let me see. 31. It's hard for me to count that high. Yep. Chocolate syrup. Right there it is. Some of y'all might have got this book for Christmas. I thank you if you did. Now, we're going to start with a whole cup of sugar this time. Some cocoa powder again. We're going to get this mixed up really well. Remember, you always got to mix cocoa and sugar really well, because you can see, look at them lumps that's in there. We can't be doing that because when you add liquid to it, they don't hardly ever dissolve. So get to stirring, shake it. Remember what I told you? How many of you seen the commercial Shake and Bake and I got to help? Well, I'm getting to help today. I am. But now this, unlike the chocolate gravy, has no flour, has no milk. Very simple it is. I've cooked this on ranches for cowboys. I'd have to make it 3 times in a batch. Not just one single recipe, multiply it by 3, 40 biscuits. And boys would clean that stuff out and be wanting some more. So we got that mixed up well. 3/4 cup of water. Stir that up. And it helps if your water is warm. There's going to be a different color to this. It's a richer, more darker chocolatey color than the gravy. Got it to that point. We're going to put the butter in there. Yeah, a whole stick of butter. That's what I'm talking about. We'll put it over on old Bertha. Same method applies. When the butter melts, we will add the vanilla. Well, my Christmas morning is complete now. It is because I have chocolate syrup and biscuits, chocolate gravy and biscuits. This is what I grew up with. I've had this once or twice, but it's been years ago. The help has showed up after we got through cooking, so hey, come here, biscuit hounds. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Dooker. Sadie, Merry Christmas. And in honor of this being the first Christmas without the bead, y'all are going to get a round of seconds. He would want it that way. There you go. I miss you, Big, I do. Now Kent's going to go with his favorite first, and Shannon poured them over like this. I always split a biscuit and put me another slab of butter in there just in case it ain't got enough butter. It's been years since I've had it, Shan, so I'm having another one of these first.
I want to know about the gravy.
One thing I can tell you, pour it over here hot and in 35-degree weather, sort of sets up like donuts, it does. There's a little excess right here.
Smooth like gravy.
Ooh, it is smooth. To me, it reminds me of the batter that my mother made for a Texas sheet cake.
Ooh.
Exactly.
What about the flavor on the syrup?
On the spot. Childhood memories come back.
Like, what does it taste like?
I don't know how I would describe it besides of just notes of happiness.
Richer.
It's a richer flavor, a darker chocolate flavor to me.
I don't do this much, but I'm coming in.
People always say, Shan don't get to eat on the videos. Folks, y'all don't know what happens after we get through with this videos. I guarantee you the plates are clean. Ain't that right, Dooker? We just want to thank y'all so much for letting us spend Christmas with y'all. And because it's all about family. But I know there's some out there too that might not have family members gathered around them. But I want you to know you do if you're watching us, because our arms reach wide and our hearts are big, because y'all are family to us. Y'all mean the world to us, and we're counting on you. So don't think you're spending a Christmas alone. You're spending Christmas with not the Cranks, but the Rollinses and the pups. You are. But hey, remember all the servicemen and women that are on active duty and away from their families, because we need to lift them up in prayer. We do. And it is with great pride and honor and a privilege that I tip my hat and salute all our servicemen and women and all the veterans who have kept that old flag a-flying. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. God bless you, each and every one, and I'll see you down 2 trails, either biscuits with chocolate syrup or biscuits with chocolate gravy. You got to do both kinds.
I'm going to try it.
And we'll get you a little extra right here.
This for me, has a little too much cinnamon in it.
Does it?
So I kind of like the syrup better.
Well, Merry Christmas to you.